Go. Hi, Miss Hunter. It's nice to see you again. I just want to begin this conference by telling you how much of a delight it is to have Stacy in our class. She's always willing to lend a helping hand, whether it's to help me or the other students. Just the other day, we were working on a project where we had color pictures, and she noticed that one of her peers didn't have markers, and she brought hers over and said, "You can use mine, I'll wait," and didn't even use hers until he was done. She's also always ready for class and excited to learn, which makes my job just easier. So, Ms. Hunter, I administered some reading assessments to Stacey just to see where she's at and what we can do here and at home to keep her on learning and improving. So the first test I administered was a phonics test, and that tests a student's ability to decode words. The next test I administered was a vocabulary test, which tests the student's knowledge of what words they recognize and know the meaning of. I also administered a fluency and comprehension test, which is a constructive, interactive process that involves the three factors: the reader, the text, and the context in which the text was read. It's basically how she reads the text and what she understands from it. The last test I administered was a phonemic awareness test, which is the ability to hear and manipulate individual phonemes, which is sounds. So I'd like to start with the phonics test. When it comes to phonics, Stacey has a strong understanding of single-syllable words and has little to no issues when spelling these words. She also does great with short syllables. Where Stacey seems to struggle, though, is with long vowel patterns. She spells longer words correctly besides long vowel patterns. So, for example, the other day she wrote the word float, but it was spelled F-L-O-O-T instead of F-L-O-A-T. To help improve Stacey's long vowel recognition, I plan on doing what's called a vowel drill with her a couple times a week. What this is I'm going to have flashcards with long vowel sounds on them, and Stacey will say the long vowel sound as I go with the flashcards. This will be helpful for her vowel recognition and recall, which will help her be able to know the sound of a vowel when she sees it, and know when she hears a word and says a word, what kind of vowel sound and pattern it's looking for. This is something I also believe would be helpful for you to do at home with Stacey as well. So it just gives her some repetition, recall, and helps her to remember. The next thing I'd like to go over is Stacey's vocabulary. So her strengths when it comes to vocabulary is all about words she has experience with. So shorter words that she's heard many times before through the movies, in person, talking to you, talking to me, in books, those words she has absolutely no problem spelling. They're easy for her, she knows what they mean, she knows how to spell them, she knows everything. The issue comes in with longer words that Stacey doesn't have familiarity with. So she doesn't understand what they mean, she doesn't know how to spell them, and it becomes difficult for her, and she tends to get frustrated. Stacey just needs to hear these words more. So she is a little bit behind in vocabulary for grade level wise. She is about 1 grade level behind. But I think between you and me, we can definitely get her up to that grade level. To help her build up her grade level for vocabulary, something I plan to do is to create a word wall and use reading passages and writing prompts that include the grade level vocabulary. So I want Stacey to be able to see these, hear them, read them, write them, everything she can do, just to get that repetition in, because that's how she learns, I've realized. So this will allow Stacey to experience the words and work with them on a daily basis. So it will be all about repetition and visual aids.
Right? So what can I do at home to help her with her vocabulary?
Awesome, I'm glad you asked. So that's something you can also do at home, but I think something that would be a little bit better is to post them around your house. So make sure you talk to Stacey, give her the words, work with her, post them on your fridge, post them on her wall, give her a little whiteboard, have her write them before she goes to bed at night. Talk about them, really explore what they mean, how to say them, what they can be used in conversation, everything like that. Stacey really learns by repetition. So once she hears these words, uses them enough, speaks with you enough, writes them, she's going to know what they mean, and she's going to easily be able to say, that word means this, I can use that word in this sentence, etc. So next, let's talk about her fluency and comprehension a little bit. So when it comes to fluency and comprehension, Stacey's strengths really lie within her comprehension. If I give her a story, she reads it, she completely understands it. She can say it back to me tenfold. She summarizes it for me, answers questions about it. She knows exactly what she's read, and she comprehends it very well. She understands the text. She knows what's going on. She can answer questions. She can discuss it. She can write about it, get posters. That's never been an issue. She seems to have difficulty, though, when it comes to fluency. So specifically where she needs to pause when she reads sentences and paragraphs. Stacey doesn't seem to comprehend that when there's a period or comma, she needs to pause. So she reads everything, like big paragraphs, as one big sentence. So there's a couple main things I'll be doing in class to help Stacey better her fluency and the flow of her reading. The first strategy is I will have Stacey work with is reading stories aloud to me that have punctuation highlighted. So I will give her a passage that's a couple sentences, and I'm going to highlight the periods and commas so that she can visually have a cue of when she needs to pause. And after doing that for a while and seeing that she's understood that that cue is there, I'm going to give her those passages without the highlighting to make sure she has really comprehended where you need to pause and where you need to stop. Another strategy I will use and would like you to also use at home is to give Stacey more silent reading time. So I know she loves horror stories, so maybe pick out a few horror stories that have increasing difficulty. Let her read them by herself first, so that way she can practice her skills on her own, making sure she knows when to stop, when to go, stuff like that on her own, and then have her read them to you so that you can practice it with her as well. This gives her a chance to exhibit her skills to you and also, work with you to better her flow. So that way she can do it on her own and hear herself and know, okay, that's wrong, I can fix that. And then she can go to you and do it with you, and if she's still messing up, she knows that she can rely on you to help her. Lastly, I would like to talk about her phonemic awareness. So Stacey seems to struggle with high-frequency syllables, which I believe together we can definitely help her improve on. The strategy I'll be using in the classroom to help Stacey with this is giving Stacey a list of words that have all the same high-frequency syllables, and she will say them out loud over and over again. So this will help her be aware that these words all have the same syllable. She'll hear the sound, she'll know how they're formed, everything like that. And so that will help her in the future when she's trying to pronounce a word or sound out a word or segment it into syllables. She can cue back to the list we were working on and speak the words out loud and realize, okay, this word was one of the syllables from this list. This word was one of the syllables from this list. And it'll better help her to understand that syllable. You can definitely do the same at home, which I, of course, always suggest. I like, her to hear it at school and at home, so that way it resonates a little bit more. Something I would suggest just to make it a little more fun at home is try something like a matching game. So have, cards with words on them that have two of the same syllables for each separate card, and then have her pick a card, be like, okay, this is the syllable I'm looking for, and then she has to match it to another card with the same syllable. So that way it's a little more fun for her, so she learns syllables in a fun way that she likes to do, and it's interactive. And at the same time, it's going to be kind of just showing a high frequency of syllable words so that she can hear them, see them over and over, and she keeps practicing. Because I feel like with Stacey, the more practice, the more she hears it, the more she's going to understand. She's definitely a learner by doing, and the more she'll experience what she's learning, the more she's going to be able to comprehend her knowledge. So all in all, Stacey is a fabulous, helpful student, and I know she'll continue to grow academically. Do you have any questions for me at this time?
Do you think that Stacey will be able to get back up to grade level in the areas she needs help with in reading?
Definitely. I'm glad you asked. I definitely think with our hard work and her hard work, and she's definitely a hard worker, so I know she's going to do it, that there is no reason that she would not be able to get back up into grade level. Right now, she's about one grade level behind in a couple of these categories, but I think working at home and in school with the games, the lists, the flashcards, everything combined is definitely going to keep her working hard and moving, and I don't see any reason why she wouldn't get back up to grade level. So that's going to be all for today, now that we've talked on all of her reading subjects, and so I'd like to thank you so much for your time, and
Thank
let
you.
you know to feel free to contact me at any time if you have any questions on how to support her or any suggestions for me on how to support her. I'm definitely always open. So thank you so much. It was great to see you.